So welcome to Introduction to Information Security Engineering, and this is going to be the first video of this complete course, which is being taught at NUST nowadays. So this is one of the courses in which you will be taught the basic fundamentals of information security, and in the subsequent videos you'll understand. And we'll try to give you a complete overview of this cybersecurity and information security. So this is not going to be in a conventional in a sub-conventional way. So we'll be discussing it in a way the way it is used and it is explained and taught in universities. So about me, if you want to really know. So objectives of the course is to understand the information security fundamentals, applying ethical hacking and penetration testing methodologies to assess and enhance system security, investigating security incident and assessing the security posture of a network and system, identify and mitigate host-based, network-based, and the web-based vulnerabilities and threats. So this would be our objective of the course, and the brief outline of this complete course will be the fundamentals of information security, which today we'll be learning, then social engineering, then basic cryptography and forensic essentials, network security, very importantly secure protocols into the system, threats and attacks, then this identification, authorization, and authentication, then cyber attack pattern, hacking methodologies, basic reconnaissance, OSINT techniques, open source intelligence, then defense in depth and web application security. At large, we'll be discussing this digital forensic and online privacy. So if you would have been studying it from me in the university, so this would have been the criteria. So coming over to the first 1.1, which is need for information security. Why is there need for information security? It's a very basic thing. Like there's everything is shifting to the onto cyberspace, and obviously when it was physical, then people then they were robbers, then they were physical attackers. Now it's everything is shifting on the cyber side. So obviously cyber attackers and malign forces are always there for your financial losses and availability of resources. They'll hack your data and they'll encrypt it, and your availability will be lost, and they'll ask you for money. Then they'll ask for ransomware. So these are ransomware attacks. Then identity theft, they'll hack your social handles. Then after hacking those social handles, they message your friends and ask for money. So this is identity theft, loss of trust, data security. So there are so many issues for which there is need for information security. What is this fork model? So fork model is basically people normally think that they have enough security in place and all they have is Windows Defender. And the second thing is that they think that enough valuable information, they don't have like enough valuable information. Why would people hack them? So this is the basic misconception. It's not always that you have valuable information. So that's the reason an attacker wants you to be part of its botnet, for that matter. For example, there are so many hackers who have made their botnet and their army for DDoS attacks. You know what DDoS attack is? So DDoS attack is basically distributed denial service of attack. So what people do, they hack into the systems whether it have valuable information or not. So and they make that system part of their greater network, their bot army. So they use, now I have like 100 computers on my botnet, and if I'll be attacking on some network and I want to jam that network, so obviously I'll attack it using all those 100 computers. When they'll ping, 100 of the computers are pinging on one system in 1 second. So obviously there'll be so much load and it will disrupt the services. So people will hack you, and if not, so obviously your data is important, who you are and where you are. Let's go ahead. What is information security? So what is information? The protection of information security. Basically, these three letters constitute of information security: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Confidentiality is basically if you don't want your data to be viewed by someone who is not authorized. For example, if you have something in your diary and you don't want it to be seen by someone else, so this is known as confidentiality. So your financial records, your data, your messages, text messages with your loved ones, so you don't want it to be seen by someone else. So this is confidentiality. The second is integrity. For example, if hacker gets into your smartphone and it changes the data, so this is basically the integrity has been compromised. uh, Integrity means that the way data is, it should remain the way it is. Then there is a thing known as availability. So if an hacker gets into your system and it adds a password on your system, now you have lost the availability of that system. So this is a major practice in hacking world, that people do this for money and for ransomware. Then there are different type of securities like physical security, personal security, operational, communication, and network. You may read it, but it's not very important. Like if there are 5 steps in making of a software, then obviously there are 5 steps where security is needed. So in short, I can conclude it in a way that information security covers both physical security as well as cyber security, whereas cyber security covers only the cyber and digital part of it. So let's move forward, which is now we'll be discussing the layers of security. So this physical security is like your hardware is secure or not, whether all your ports are open or they're closed, whether anyone can place a USB in your system or not. So this is physical security. You have to take care whether your system is not a public property. And there's network security, on the network on which you are attached. For example, you have logged into an open public Wi-Fi, so your network would not be very secure. Or if your 10 of the computers are attached to each other with the help of a LAN, and one computer is compromised, so obviously the security of all 4 or 10 computers are also compromised. And there is system security application you are using in your system. If that application is malign, obviously it will run malign code on your system, and your system will ultimately be compromised. And at the end, there is a user security, the user who is logging into the system, whether he is the one having the actual permissions to open that network, or whether he have hacked that password and he is using that password. So let's move to 1.3, which is cyber threat landscape. I'll tell you that where world is going in cybersecurity nowadays, and how things are being managed. So 95% of cybersecurity is basically due to the human error. People do click on certain links, and people use bad passwords and small passwords, and they always go for their easiness, and that's the point where the hacker always find a way to get into the target system. So second is the worldwide information security market is forecast to reach 366.1 billion in 2028. Then US was the target of 46% of the cyber attacks. So there are so many facts stated over here. You may read it. So let's move ahead. So you have 3 independent systems basically to connect with the world. One is the satellite system, which is wireless. The second is landline network, and then there is fiber optic cable, which there are so many oceans and seas. So fiber optic cable are there, and now you must be thinking that how one can hack and get control of this fiber optic landline and satellite system. So in the next few slides I'll tell you all these are compromised. Even all these are compromised at very large scale. So there are organizations managing them, and those organizations are providing data directly to a few countries and their intelligence agencies. So approximately 51% of the world population is an active user of internet, and 100% are affected. Why 100%? Now I'll tell you. So you must have heard about Edward Snowden's revelations, what he revealed. So he was a former system administration he used to work for the CIA, Central Agency, and counterintelligence trainer at Defense Intelligence Agency, USA. Then the information he revealed the information that global surveillance programs, many run by NSA and the Five Eyes, the Corporation of the Telecommunication Companies and European governments. So these five countries, one is Australia, Canada, New Zealand, United Kingdom, US. So they had this alliance, and they used to control all this fiber network, fiber cables, and they have all the access of all social media and people's data and information, and they use it against the countries and for their own betterment. So then he disclosed some of the material to the several media outlets. He explained that how USA and these organizations have access to every nitty-gritty of your data, even financial data, and even where you're moving. So nowadays we know that this even if we go to from Pakistan to, for that matter, India. So in India, my system will automatically tell me that okay, nowadays I am in India. So obviously they have the complete control of our movement and our whatsoever we are doing and whatsoever we are talking. If we talk something, obviously the ads on our system comes accordingly. So they have complete control. These applications have complete control of our lives, and obviously they sell it to these organizations. Anyways, let's move ahead. So this 5i alliance, which I've already told you, so this they have access to everything. Just move ahead. So this is basic interface of this Prism. So the Prism can collect anything that you post online from Gmail, Facebook, Skype, Outlook, and Yahoo, and give data to obviously USA. So the Skype started a secret program called Project Chess to make Skype calls accessible to intelligence agencies and law enforcement agencies. So these big giants and big organizations, if you think that their data is secret, it's not. Skype then joined this PRISM program in February 2009. These all revelations were by this guy in glasses. So NSA hacked civilian computer networks in both Hong Kong and mainland China. So I hope now you have a fair idea where the world is going and what is the landscape of cybersecurity. The NSA collected 60 million Spanish telecom calls over just 30 days in late 2012 and early 2013. Just imagine. So this, bugged the South African Foreign Ministry and planned to spy on envoy Commonwealth summits. Anyway, then there is a UK's Tempora program with these long fiber optical cables that carry massive amount of internet and telephone call. They have, control of that. So might is right. Whosoever has power, they have complete access to everything. Then it has also, same intentions and just tailored access operation. You may read it. So I'm just going ahead, so not to waste your time if you're not interested. If you're interested, you may, pause and read it. Spying on smartphone data. So NSA has the ability to tap into the data, including email, contact phones, and physical locations. Monitoring, even they do monitor financial network and records. Now, see, there are so many devices in which there are the vulnerabilities. So this NetOS has this backdoor that can easily run arbitrary code on these routers. So a router, there are so many ports. One are the physical ports, and then second is the virtual ports. So virtual ports and physical ports both can be targeted by the hackers if there is an open port and not enough security is placed on it. So obviously that open port will be considered as a backdoor, and an attacker can easily get access to that open port, and they can do whatsoever they want to do. So port is accessible from the WAN side of the router, hard-coded password located in the router's firmware, and user cannot modify or disable this backdoor. So whosoever was using this NetOS, so he was basically, if there is an attacker nearby, he is compromised. Then at last, purpose of information security. I hope till now you must be knowing that what is the purpose of information security. So till now you must be knowing that why is this information security, what is the purpose of this information security. Now moving to an organization need information security for four purposes, major purposes. One is organization's ability to function. You must have heard about business continuity plan and business, organizations do make this business continuity plan, and information security is a major part of it, that a business should keep on working even if some shit happens, still business should work. So information security is placed to keep the system working, and so that no hacker should get into the system and they attack the system, and your availability is gone. Then second is to safe operations of the applications. Obviously you want to use the application safely. Then to protect your data and to safeguard the technology assets in use at the organization. What is the asset vulnerability threat risk? So this is like majorly discussed in cybersecurity. Asset is just, I would just want to explain it in a way that you have a house that is normally in business administration call it assets. So if you have a house and that is your asset, then at night, for example, your main door is open, so that is a vulnerability. Obviously that is a weakness or a gap from where an attacker can get into your house. So, and any weakness or gap is known as vulnerability. Then there is a thing known as threat. So what is threat? Threat is that particular attacker or robber who will enter into the vulnerability into the gate of your house and he gets inside. So that attacker is basically the threat. And fourth number, there is a risk of life, risk of money, risk of gold, risk of anything which is at your home. So now discussing it in cybersecurity, if you have an asset, you have a network of 5 6 computers, you're managing some business, then there's a vulnerability. For example, you have an open port in your one of the system, and that hacker is basically the threat for that open port. He'll enter into that open port and exploit your business. Then risk is that you lost your data, it will malign your identity, it will do whatsoever he can do. So next thing is the motives and goals of a hacker. What are the basic motives and goals? So it is hacker, why he is basically hacking you. So it depends. Number one is he want to disrupt your business continuity. He might want to steal information and manipulate data, creating fear and chaos by disrupting. So what is the intention of a hacker? That depends. Then skills, then there are like two type of skill which in information security engineer, which is a positive man. He should have, one is technical skills. He should have in-depth knowledge of major OS operating systems, Windows, Linux, Mac, in-depth knowledge of network concepts, technologies. Should computer expert, adapted technical domain, should possess high technical knowledge and launches sophisticated attacks and counter. So we will basically teach you all. Just stay connected on our channel. In non-technical skills, there is an ability to learn and adapt new technology, awareness of local standards and laws, and committed to organization security policies. So we will explain you that as well. So in next lecture, which is lecture 2, we'll be discussing information security vulnerabilities, and these are the major components we'll be discussing in our next lecture, which is CIA grade, which is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. We'll be discussing that in depth. Then data states, like the way data is transferred and where they are compromisable. Then hackers and their classes. Then you will understand what, if you want to become, which type of hacker do you want to become, and what path to adopt. And there is why security is difficult. Obviously, we'll tell you why everyone is not information security engineer, and at last we'll discuss about the standards and regulation. For example, if you want to work in US, so what are the information security standards over there? If you want to work in the health industry, so there are information security standards in health industry as well. So we will be discussing this in our next lecture. For that, stay tuned. If you have any doubts, comment, and I'll get back to you. Thank you. Take care. Thanks.